let's just say Niners get into the playoffs, right? Now, they probably won't clinch a playoff spot till week 16, 7. I would say 16 is probably the earliest, more than likely. But let's say they do. Is it at all possible that a certain wide receiver looks and says, they're going to cut me after the year? Nobody has seen me play for a whole year. Nobody's seen me run. Nobody's seen me cut. They're going to cut me. I'm going to need a new contract. I just gave up $26 million because I didn't fight them voiding my guarantees. I'm not saying out of loyalty to the 49ers. I'm not saying out of loyalty to Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch or anybody. I'm saying purely out of selfish interest. Is it at all possible that Brandon Aiyuk wants to get back on the field for the playoffs? And if he does, Levin, do the 49ers allow him to get back on the field?
Yeah. I mean, I've wondered that from the start. If Brandon Aiyuk is planning on just wanting to come back for the final game so that he can put on tape, put on the data, how fast he reached, so the teams can say, oh, look, he on this route, he reached 21 miles per hour. He's got full speed. So they're more likely to sign him, because they get that info. So they'll be able to see, is he reaching his normal speeds on these routes? Is he getting to the same spot at the same time that he was pre-injury or not? So I've wondered if that's what his game plan is from the start. Once we knew a few weeks ago that he was basically saying F you to the team and not showing up. Now, if they make the playoffs, you don't know when the last game is. So I would not be surprised if we hear after the Tennessee game, Brandon Aiyuk is back and they're looking him over and may open his window after this next week, which would be the Colts game. I could see them deciding that. So then he's basically saying, all right, I'm going to come back. I'm going to spend a week or two getting amped up. Now I'll play the final week of the regular season and then be there for the playoffs.
It'd be a fascinating question. And John Lynch was asked, do you have a realistic expectation that Brandon Aiyuk could come back to the field? And here was his answer on KMBR.
Realistic, I'm not sure. Hopeful, yeah, So I think that's kind of where I'd leave that. He continues to rehab, and hopefully that's like I've always said, is we're a better football team when Brandon's out there, and I hope that's the case. But I think that's probably what it is hope right now, and I wish it were a little bit more than that.
That's what John Lynch said. Kyle Shanahan went on KMBR.
Oh, I'm definitely still hopeful. It's not counting on it. It's but I'm definitely still hoping that can happen.
That doesn't shock me. Of course, the coach is hopeful that the guy would come back. Now, Benali brought up an interesting point. Why would the 49ers play a wide receiver that hasn't played in a year and has no chemistry with the team in a playoff win-or-go-home situation? Well, a couple of reasons, Benali. First and foremost, they can open his practice window, like you said, Levin, so he could be out there on the practice field gaining chemistry with Brock and all that stuff for weeks before he actually has to play in a game. And second of all, like I said, self-interest. If he puts out good film, if there's film of him in a playoff game against playoff defenses, cooking defensive backs and getting open, even if he's not getting the ball, he probably stands to make a lot more money. I don't think it's likely because they voided his guarantees, and that's a scary thing because if he were to get hurt and miss any time, like that is a very scary situation. I'm not saying it's likely at all, but I'm saying if he did want to do it, and you're the 49ers, do you let him? Are you worried about the chemistry? Or do you say, screw that, we need as many good players as we could get?
Yeah, so Benali asked why the 49ers would. We know why Aiyuk would. Why would the 49ers risk putting him out there in terms of from a chemistry standpoint when he hasn't been around?
Because he's good.
Yeah, there's a very simple answer. He's easily the best wide receiver on the roster. That's why.
And we don't know what the state of their wide receiving core is going to be at that point either. Pearsall could be hurt again. Jennings could be hurt. What if it's Jennings and Bourne going into a playoff game? You don't think they would welcome, Brandon Aiyuk back? So, again, I don't
Did you see what Barrow said about Cowan?
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using code GSPE. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
So 3 weeks ago, Barrows talked to Cowing, and Cowing said he's very close to being back. And somebody asked for an update since it's been 3 weeks and his practice window isn't getting open. And Barrows basically said, Cowing is probably fully healthy right now. They don't have a roster spot for him. Because if you activate him, he said you already have Watkins that is an active coach's decision scratch on games. So you have to cut somebody. Well, they're not going to cut somebody. So they're just stashing him.
I would cut Kendrick Bourne, but that's just me. McFly says, we don't know how good he is anymore, Rob. You're thinking it's 2023 Aiyuk, but that's not the guy we'd likely see on the field right now. Even a diminished Brandon Aiyuk is better than Jawan Jennings. He's better than Kendrick Bourne.
Again, they get a practice window. They would know I would assume probably 2 weeks that they would have him practicing. I don't think it would be a case of his practice windows opened on Monday. He practices that week and plays that Sunday. It's too serious of an injury. They're going to take 2 weeks with it.
Yeah.
They're going to know what he's capable of in those 2 weeks. And if he's not looking like his normal self, he's not looking good, they can push it to a third week because you get 21 days. And if he's still not looking like himself to where you don't think he's capable, then you permanent IR him. It's not you open his practice window and you're forced to add him back to roster. You can choose to say, no, that guy's not ready. He's done for season, and you give up the ability to bring him back.
Well, and here's the other part of this too. He's not on IR right now. He's on the physically unable to perform list. So he doesn't even count against the people that you bring back. That's even better for the 49ers. I got
to look. I was going to say, is he part of the 53 now? Because if he's not, then you have to cut somebody the moment you activate him. You don't get that practice window.
I
don't think he is.
I've been asking Kyle every week, are you going to open the Brandon Aiyuk practice window?
Yeah, that's true.
Diego says Barch is going on IR. So does that open? You would want to replace Barch with another offensive lineman, I would think.
You have to. Like that was one of the other questions was who's the backup left tackle right now? Because Burford is going to be forced into full-time starter.
Right.
So is it Trent gets hurt and Burford slides over in the same game and you put in Connor Colby again? Or is it Pleasance? And he made the case it's probably Pleasance because Pleasance was playing in mop-up duty at left tackle.
Yeah, I don't know let's hope we never have to cross that freaking bridge, man. That's been another underrated thing. When is the last time Trent Williams played 13 straight games? He usually misses one in between. So he's another guy.
You shut up.
I know. He's another guy that greatly benefits from it for sure. But I just thought that would be another little interesting wrinkle. And let's be honest, with the 49ers, it's always interesting.